Oh, thank my Jesus, I'm alive. Let's play trivia. So, since 2010, how many South Carolina sheriffs have been charged with or convicted of crimes? 16. And as of 2021, how many South Carolina sheriffs have been found guilty or pled guilty? 13. What was the prison sentence handed to former Lee County Sheriff E.J. Melvin for drug conspiracy and racketeering? 17 years? Oh, wow. Lexington County Sheriff James Metz resigned from office as a part of what specific legal action? A plea agreement for bribery and abuse of office charges. Whoa. What was the specific nature of the misconduct charge against the Greenville County Sheriff Will Lewis? Using public funds to pursue and groom subordinate for what? Wow. Spartanburg County Sheriff Chuck Wright was sentenced to how many months in federal prison for public corruption? 41 months. What is public corruption exactly? I don't know. Who were the two co-defendants that pled guilty alongside Spartanburg County Sheriff Chuck Wright? A chaplain and an employee. Ooh, wow. Did not know that. My. Chester County Sheriff Alex Underwood was convicted of using deputies on county time for what personal project? To build a man cave in his barn. What was the civil rights violation of the Chester County Sheriff Alex Underwood? Unlawful arrest of Kevin Simpson. Wow. Wow. That was shocking for me. I did not know. So this next clip I got from YouTube, this guy's going to tell you a story that is unbelievable. Wow.
Traffic stop of Georgia Southern quarterback Shia Werts. He was pulled over per TMZ for speeding, then questioned about a white substance on the hood of his car. Here's the Q&A from the officer in Werts.
What's the white stuff on the front of your hood, man?
Bird shit.
Bird shit?
Yeah.
That ain't bird shit.
I promise you that's bird doo-doo.
I promise you it's not, though.
I swear to God that's bird doo-doo.
Well, I swear to God it's not, because I just tested it and that turned pink.
Bro, you can see it on the windshield.
That's not bird poop.
I swear to God that's bird doo-doo.
That's not bird poop.
I swear to God.
That's a lot of bird shit, man.
I tried to clean it last night at the gas station.
I can still wipe it off.
It's bird doo-doo.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Okay, so the officer ran a field test, and we will get to the inaccuracy of said field test in a moment. Here's the substance the officer saw on the hood of Werts' car.
Ending with Werts in the back of the deputy's vehicle, where he would be taken to the Saluda County Jail.
That's right, Werts went to jail for a crime he did not commit. There was a grave injustice done here. So here's what occurred. When his field testing kits came back positive for cocaine during the July 31st traffic stop, the officer arrested Werts. The drug charges sparked national headlines and left the quarterback briefly suspended and in danger of missing Georgia Southern University season opener later this month against the national powerhouse of LSU. Although it came back positive, field tests should be under intense scrutiny. Here's why. Sage, chocolate chip cookies, motor oil, spearmint, magic soap, tortilla dough, deodorant, billiards, chalk, flour, breath mints, Jolly Ranchers, donut glaze, exposure to air, and loose leaf tea have all drawn a positive field test. These tests cost about $2 a piece. A sign of penny squeezing by police departments across the country. Some test results can be affected by variables such as weather conditions, user error, and lighting conditions. Some studies have shown error rates ranging from 1 in 5 to 1 in 3 false positive tests. Furthermore, in 2009, the Marijuana Policy Project used the Regent field test on 42 substances that weren't marijuana. They were able to get false positives on 70% of them. Shia Werts was a moment away from being another stat on the shittiness of field testing. And here's the thing. Those who draw a false positive test means bail money is run up and lives are ruined. Like how the Miami Herald reported this. Rebecca Shaw served 5 months in jail until her husband could pay her $5,000 bail. Another 7 months passed before the state crime lab concluded its testing and confirmed the pills that were found in her car were not oxycontin, but rather simple vitamins, as she attested to the police officer. The officer's defense was a mirror image and rhetoric used on Shia Werts. They don't look like vitamins, they look like oxycontin. By 2010 in Las Vegas, the police department's crime lab wanted to abandon its kits for methamphetamine and cocaine. New technology was available and clearly needed to protect against wrongful convictions. A 2014 report that Las Vegas PD submitted to the DOJ, how kits produce false tests, were still being used. In Houston, ProPublica found 300 cases of arrests resulting in wrong convictions. Unfortunately, defendants pled guilty at the first court hearing and have been incarcerated since their arrest. Thankfully, the DAs in Harris County, the jurisdiction where Houston is, no longer accepts guilty pleas based on field tests. Drug evidence must be confirmed by the crime lab for prosecutors to obtain a conviction. Progression. But the underlying conclusion across the country is imperfect. It should be noted, officers, not all but some, root for a positive test, like in Shia Werts' case. He's about to be shit out of luck, uttered one officer. Following his arrest, GSU suspended the quarterback for 2 days. After passing a drug test, he was allowed to return to practice on Sunday, but was still banned from the season opening game while the case played out. Werts, thankfully, is in the process of having this citation on his record expunged. If only we could say more for the countless others that have had their lives ruined from a system with thorough testing and evidence has proved inaccurate. But because of the low cost and effectiveness, it's simply passed over for the free labor of those in prison.
Wow. Okay, so I've modified the style. I had some really good people offer me critique that, hey, you're taking up too much of my time, and I agree. So I'm going to make these shorter and try to make them as interesting as possible. It's not a really happy subject, but so it was crazy to me that the whole time I watched what happened with Shia Werts, I was like, how did it test positive for cocaine if there was no cocaine there? How did that happen? So that video explained it for me. And then to go further and explain that having vitamins in your car can, destroy your life. So that's not okay. But wow. And, this is research that I have to do because I'm one of these people who have had their life destroyed. Yes, it's going on 5 years now. And like I said, I'm 52. There's no going back for me. I'm not going to get those years back. And I can tell you that at the beginning of this, I was very satisfied with my appearance. I was confident, and I was 2 semesters away from my goal of graduating USC and moving into, a really beneficial role for healthcare and patient advocacy and, ensuring a lot of good things were going to happen. But anyway, back to the story. So the rest of this is crazy, though, because what happens is this officer who did this to this athlete who spent his life for this moment in time, he had a history. He had a big history. And he was hired anyway. And so in my investigation, I'm finding that a lot, that, things like that happen. But what makes me more concerned is when I see these young men going into the police force, and now I know that they're going into an environment that's not good for them. That's not what we want for our policemen. Not at all.
Saluda County, SCWTOC. The details are disturbing. A deputy enticing an underage girl to sneak out of her house. Even more troubling, he met the girl after her parents reported her as a runaway. This is the same South Carolina deputy whose conduct during a traffic stop in Saluda County received national attention in August 2019. You'll remember Deputy Charles Allen Browder III. He's the one seen in video arresting Georgia Southern quarterback Shia Werts for what he thought was cocaine on the hood of his car. Turns out the substance was not cocaine, and the charges were later dropped. But there's been an even bigger fallout since we began this months-long investigation. Saluda County's top prosecutor, Solicitor Rick Hubbard, said he will no longer prosecute cases that require the deputy's testimony. That decision happened after we made him aware of the deputy's past behavior. By the time Deputy Browder's employer saw it, the video had more than 13,000 views on social media. His behavior in the video is why Lexington County terminated his employment in December of 2017. Conduct unbecoming of an officer is the official term. In that statement, he revealed more sexual relationships with other people while on the job, sex on duty, and explicit messages and photos he sent. All those sexual encounters, he said, involved people over the age of 18. But before the internal affairs investigation was complete, that video surfaced. Lexington County terminated Browder's employment on December 5th of 2017. But when you look at his file with the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy, that official term is the only explanation given. What you won't find there are details about that video or another internal affairs investigation brewing at the time, one much more troubling. It involved a complaint about Browder's escalating communication with an underage girl. According to internal affairs documents obtained from Lexington County, Browder initiated the social media conversation weeks earlier in October of 2017. It started out casual. "Hit me up if you need anything." He first met the girl after her parents reported her as a possibly runaway. The relationship progressed over messages. 2 weeks later, he asked her to add him on Snapchat. She did. And a little over a week later, he encouraged her to sneak out to meet him. It's unclear if they met that night, according to the files received from the Lexington County Sheriff's Office. But by then, the girl's aunt knew about the relationship and told an investigator at the solicitor's office for the 8th Judicial Circuit. He referred the complaint to the Lexington County Sheriff's Office, and it was handled as an internal affairs investigation. As for Browder, he sat out of law enforcement for 11 months and took a job at a chicken plant. That was before Saluda County Sheriff's Office agreed to hire him. According to his hiring file, Saluda County did contact Lexington County about Browder's separation, but we don't know what was shared or discussed. He resigned Monday. This Monday? Did he give a reason? No, ma'am. He just gave us a resignation letter is all he gave us. Browder's resignation letter is signed January 20th. It's the same day WTOC reached him by email and detailed the nature of the story. That exchange happened Wednesday, January 22nd. Also, last week, Browder's attorney sent a statement. It read in part, Browder's decision to leave law enforcement was made several months prior and that he left law enforcement because it wasn't conducive to a balanced family life.
I am shocked. I did not know. I had no idea. And so if you made it this far, I just want to take a minute to tell you I am so grateful for your time. And I just, as I'm doing this research, I want to share it with you because what I have been repeatedly told is to just flee for my life. Just pack up all my belongings and leave South Carolina. I was born in South Carolina. I love South Carolina. And I'm going to stay in South Carolina and try to make it a better place. Because if we keep just picking up and leaving and running, what we're leaving behind is lost. And the value that we're seeking is where we left it behind, where it was lost at. And we have to go back and get it. This is a great state. Our officers in this state are beautiful young men who have been raised with integrity and honor. And now with this research, I'm just wondering, did they come into an environment that was toxic for them? Where, they had to, I don't know, but did they have to do bad things just so they could, be a police officer? Is that part of the job now in South Carolina? That you have to be in a toxic environment and you have to perform things that are really bad against your own moral judgment? I don't know. I don't know. And so I can't tell you. But thank you for checking this out. And next time, I got more stuff. It's amazing what I find. Biggest thing I am finding, though, that there is this information blocking. I run into these concrete walls, walls of information that are part of the story that destroyed my life. They are part of the story that should be very, very open, transparent to the public, but they are not. So, what is that all about?